Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Hermitpack, our modded Minecraft 1.10 server. And this episode we're going to tackle the storage, but it also means that we're going to make some farms as well. So everything is going to be cool. At the beginning though, I've got to show you what's going on with my storage system. Things are a bit of a mess around here. And when I say tackle the storage system, it's because we're running into issues. The sort of issues where this block right here decides to pop off and disappear. Sometimes when I come into this area it's gone, and more often than not I'm using this and finding that there is just strange issues. You put something in here to be smelted and you can't find it in this for quite a while. And there's other issues as well which we'll get to soon. So you may notice there's some other items in here which we haven't seen before, and I'll explain all of that in a moment. A while back though I decided to set up this thing over here, which was automatically going to make sand and gravel for me, and I think I set it up wrong. This thing was set to turn it off at, that's just 1,000 sand, isn't it? And yet in my system we have close to 10,000 and it never turned it off, and this thing has actually been pumping the stuff out into this chest over here because I've been walking around the back and looking at what's going on. So if we have a look in here, you'll just see there's tons and tons of gravel everywhere, and that's because it's been continuously creating the stuff and filling up all of this external storage. Now I do believe that this stuff right here is what's causing the problems. There's probably too much of it because we had a load of them down below with the deep storage units, and when we disconnected that, some of the issues started to go away. Now they're starting to come back again. That was scary. I still need to sort out a beacon in this area that stops mob spawning. Are you making any sound? No. Why is my sound off? This makes no sense to me. Could have swore I had my sound on earlier. Hi. There you go. Get wrecked. Get out of my base. So yes, we disconnected a lot of this stuff. As you'll see, some of it is not actually connected. What we have down the end here, though, is a new storage solution, which is causing me some problems. Check this out. We've got these compacting drawers. I had so many comments about this, and then in a live stream we set out to set them up, and they are pretty amazing. So these things will allow you to put in one item like cobalt, and then it will store them as 3 different things. If we open this, which I think I need an empty hand, I need to hold down shift. There we go. You can see all the different amounts of these that we can make, and I think ender pearls is the one that's been maxed out so far. And that's the most that we can store of those. So when we see that in this system here, like we can't take out all of these ender pearls and all of those. That's like the potential maximum, right? That should make sense. And if you notice the upgrades, this is why we're making a farm today. We need emeralds, because these are emerald upgrades, and they multiply the storage size by 13. And it looks like they get blanked out once that storage is being used, so you can't just rip it out of there. And this one here is really cool. Void upgrade, destroys excess items. So once we have this many in here and it's maxed out, whenever ender pearls come into the system, they will get voided automatically, which I think is really good. It means we can keep a really large amount, but then we never have to worry about how we manage, how many items are going there in total. So those are the compacting drawers, and behind you'll see there's not a lot of cables connected up to them. All we need is one block, this thing right here, which is a controller, and below it is the external storage. And with this controller it will look up into all of these blocks and then let the refined storage system speak with it through this little thing down here. How cool is that? That is so much better than what we were going to do before. We don't have to use item frames. There's loads of stuff to look at right there. Very, very cool. Now, I've tried to do the same thing on the other side with regular storage drawers. These ones are different from the compacting ones. They just store a singular item. If we have a look at this one or that one. Now, that's interesting that there are 274 in there, because I was having trouble getting the system to put the items in the right place. So down here again, we've got a controller, and we've got the external storage, and last time that I messed around with this, I couldn't get it to send any items down here. It would always send them into those chests up the top, and this thing has been given a priority of 1,000, so it should definitely speak to it. Let's double check that. Yep, it's set to 1,000. So I don't know what's going on with that. Apparently it's working now. Maybe I should do some more checks and tests and see what's going on here, because something is definitely up with that. But there you go. The plan is to then extend that through this area. So we've got our compacting on that side, and then we've got individual items on the opposite side. This is the compacting drawer. This is another set of drawers. The thing that I want to show you is over the back here. Do I have any blocks in my inventory? It'd be a really good idea right now if I were to grab some random blocks. Let's type in factory. Yep, there's a few different textures there, so we're going to grab these so I can show you the flexibility of this mod. It is extremely cool. Once you make this workbench right here, you can then customize how the block is going to look. So there are 3 different parts: the drawers, the general texture, and the outline, which is black on this one. So these 2 blocks are what I'm using for the side, but you can put anything in here. You can even put in a powered spawner, I believe. Maybe not. There was some other sort of technical block that I put in here that looked pretty cool. So we can make our drawers with that. We'll have that as the outline. Actually, no, we'll make that the main texture. And didn't I like pick out 3 of these? We'll just leave that one there. There you go. That's how our drawers would look. Pretty cool, right? And you can use all sorts of different blocks on there. The one that I tried was this one. This is the compacting drawer, and I actually put that texture onto here, and it would then match what we see on the other side. However, it looks really odd when you've got one item like floating in the middle of this grid, so eventually I decided against it. But you can see I picked out textures that are similar, so that's how we have this custom look over here. Here is the mod on the side, by the way, just so you can see that the default stuff works with, all the different textures of woods. Then you can get these like double drawers that store 2 items each and 4 items each, and then over here you've got your compactor drawers, and then it's these ones right here that you want to look at, framed drawers. They're the ones that you can use the table to customize and make it into your own texture. So anyway, in order for us to get this system to where we want it to be to store all of our items, everything needs to have those emerald upgrades that this one has. It multiplies the amount that you can store in there by 13 times the base value, as it says right there. So we need to make a villager farm because we need to get emeralds, and if you don't know, you can drop villagers into a tinker's smeltery and they will make liquid emerald, which is pretty cool. And the way that we're going to do this, I initially thought, would be with Ender.io. Trusty Ender.io. We could come over here, we could put a villager soul vial with a broken spawner. But no, I'm clicking and nothing happens. What's going on there, eh? Seems that Ender.io has blocked that one. So there is another way that we can do this. We have a spawn changer right here. This is from Actually Additions. We kind of checked out this mod in the last episode to some respect, so you'll know how I make that block if you watch the last one. Spawner shards we get from breaking spawners, which we've done lots of already. So if we place down a villager on the ground, who are you? You are an apiarist, right? And then we click on, no, shift click. Aha! So now, has it got, it's got an MBT tag. Oh, it even says entity villager. There we go. Place in crafting grid to clear storage. I'm assuming the storage is the villager. We've also got a moving wand over here that has a blaze spawner in it. We don't want blazes in our base, but luckily they won't destroy anything. So we're going to place this down, do that, and it's a villager spawner, and it might start spawning villagers. Now, I got 2 of these blaze spawners stored, and we can actually do that again with our wand, which has been used, I've just realised. Well, the next thing I wanted to try was to break this. That might sound a little bit crazy, but we're going to do it. And oh, it's still a blaze one. Oh, that kind of sucks. I was hoping that that would drop as a villager one now, because then we could combine it with a spawner in the anvil, as it says right here, and we would bypass using this machine, but it seems that that is not possible, so I'm going to have to craft another one of those ones, and it looks like we've got to do this with a vanilla spawner. You saw nothing, okay? You saw nothing! So welcome to a new dimension, where the sun doesn't move. I've been staring at that for a while. Look, it's staying still. That's a really cool feature of this dimension. And believe it or not, it's taken me over an hour to get to this point right here, because I've had to craft these things up and we just don't have enough stuff automated. And in the process of doing this, it made me think about all the things that we need to do. There's just such a jumble of stuff to take care of at the moment. And another thing that I thought about is our power situation. I believe that the 40k is the maximum that this can do, and we're only using one channel to send through our power. So everything that we've got runs off one 40k connection, and that is a little bit silly. We need to take care of that and make that system a lot better at some time. Anyway, we've got some company. Some of it fell down there. Put down the villager spawner just for fun at the moment. We can pick it back up again when we're ready, of course. And all of this has been set up nice and easy. We've got our transmitter on this side, And now that we know how this works, transmitter over here, receiver in the overworld. Yeah, that was a breeze to set up. So we got all of our items, and I've been making some seared bricks. I've decided what we will do is make a 5x5 size one of these. Actually, I still needed that block. And here's what I always do. I forget to use my building wand. And my bag of holding has gone empty again. Ah, drives me mad when it does that. I still haven't figured out when exactly it happens. It seems to happen at some point when we're going through dimensions, but we kind of do that all the time. And me being the smarty pants that I am, I put down a bunch of chests here. They've all got the same bag of holding in, cloned over and over again, so I can get my items back whenever this strange bug happens. So in this one over here, there's another one with all of my items, and there you go. And over to this dimension from another one of our dimensions. I really love this RF Tools stuff. Now that that nonsense is over, we've got our building wands, so we can make this a little bit faster. The reason that I'm going with a 5x5 one is simply to use less of these. I'm worried about stuff impacting the performance of the server, you know. So if we can avoid using more of those sorts of things, that should be better. So that means that the area here for the villagers to go in is going to be bigger. So this area up top would then need less blocks around it for the villagers to land on, and therefore less slime conveyors. Now there's a choice of two different types here. This one's a little bit too dark. What you can do though is whack it with a chisel to change it to the other one. And what's cool about this is if you're building with one type, you could change it to the next. So let's say you're building like a path with lots of these. You could go along and whack a few of them randomly and change the texture up. So a nice way to variate the texture. Not all of them are grouped together though. I clicked it one time too many. Do you know what? We'll forget about it. Let's continue building this thing. I just had a thought. We could come back here in the future and paint the seared bricks to glowstone. Then they would emit light and be the exact same texture. Not that you'd really notice. Anyway, all of those are in place. And if we put the spawner up here above where that netherrack block is, we use this thing to move it, then the only place they'll be able to land is on those slime conveyors. And at some point I'll also put up a glass wall, just in case they escape. And there they go straight away. So the ones that landed on the edge got knocked into the centre there. If we count this outwards, it's in the very centre of the 5x5 area. And then you'll see that the fourth block, the furthest that can it spawn, is directly above the conveyors. That was weird. Anyway, I need to get rid of these guys. Their only use now is to level up my shuriken. You know, just because a platform is temporary doesn't mean you can't make it look pretty. Hi, am I forgetting something here? Oh yeah, we right-click it. Doesn't this normally do like a little region of 3x3? I think you can actually change that with the controls, and I can't remember what the controls are. Anyway, that is much nicer on the eyes. So I have done this project before on xisumavoid, which was my own mod pack we had at the beginning of the year, or maybe it was even last year that it started. I believe it was last year actually. Wow, time flies. I tried to do one of these emerald farms the same way. You drop these guys into here, and then when there's liquid in there, they're going to take damage, they're going to die and turn into liquid emerald. Now, we have a little bit of a challenge because you need there to be liquid in here in the first place in order to get them taking damage. That's why we're smelting up this ingot. Not enough heat. That's why I brought lava buckets with me. Okay, there it is. Now it turns into liquids. Now they start taking damage. Soon they'll die. In fact, before they die, you start to get the emerald liquid. You can see it there. Excellent. That is a strange sight. Bam! There they all go. So now if we have a look in here, you'll see that there are emeralds here as well. The problem is, if we want to take the emeralds out of this thing, it needs to be the liquid at the bottom. In order for it to become the liquid at the bottom automatically, we have to take out the other liquid and then get it back in there again, which can cause some issues. And I believe the way to do it, or maybe similar to the way that we did it before, is to have a couple of different materials that don't mix together inside the smeltery and have them rotating through here. So what we'd do is put a ingot casing there and extract the iron. It would go through into this hopper, and then it would get pumped back into the system. So here we're going to have like a conduit that connects to that and puts them back in again. And we will rotate through a couple of different metals over and over again. And then that means that this will get cycled through, and whenever the emeralds are on the bottom, that's when this one activates. Now we're using fluid conduits at the moment from Ender.io, and I don't know if you can make filters for fluids. Like when we click on this thing, in and out, extract, insert, there's no filter option, is there? Oh dear, I don't think we can do that. Thanks to the wonderful people on my Patreon community who played xisumavoid with me, I've been informed that I'm using the wrong type of conduit. This is an ender fluid conduit, and this one allows us to have a filter right here. The way that we create a filter, though, is with a bucket. So if we right-click that, we can filter the emeralds, I believe. That's going to basically fill up the bucket, even though it sort of looks like it's not doing that. And it's going to go straight down into the hopper below when it's done, isn't it? There we go. Off it goes. I'll tell you what, this molten emerald looks really, really cool. Oh, I've accidentally placed it down. Let's do that again. Wow. We could use this when we build. That looks so cool. I'm going to grab that back, though. This will go over here in the filter, I believe, now. Is that whitelist? Oh, and it lets you keep the bucket. Very cool. So now it's only going to extract emeralds. Perfect. Right, if we can get this thing to work on the other side, then we will run into another problem. Everything is working over here the way I've planned. It's going to cycle through a bronze and a manual ingot, although it does the bronze one. You'll see there, it appears in there for a brief moment, and then this thing takes over. And that's kind of the big problem there. Maybe we'll have to get this thing to run on redstone and just put a slow delay on it. That sounds like actually a reasonable solution. You see, as soon as these guys take damage, the liquid is then being moved out of here, and then there'll be no liquid other than the emeralds that just went in there. So the emeralds won't even damage them, because this one will take it out, right? So if we stand up above here, you know that that cycle is going on, but look, they're just standing there. And there it is, manual in for a split second, but not even anything happened. Okay, I think the timer solution might actually solve this. Let's go and grab one and see what it does. Right, bronze is in there, they're taking damage. And then our redstone clock on the side will activate every 10 seconds. So any moment now, it should take it. Come on. And then we might end up with both mandolin and bronze in there at the same time. It might be better just to have one then. But this thing, like, hasn't done anything yet. Maybe it needs more than, like, a singular pulse. Well, figuring this one out ain't too straightforward. You see, after a while, I realised this thing needed to be powered to be on. Problem is, it only seems to... Wait a minute, what? Okay, I don't know what's going on here. I was about to say it only emits a weak signal, which shouldn't really be a problem then. If we do that, you can see... What is going on here? Why is it staying on? That wouldn't turn on a moment ago when I was... I don't know what's going on here. Maybe the server is being a little bit funky. Sticky piston makes a 4-tick signal. That's enough. That's so much simpler than the other stuff that I was trying. Problem now is, for some reason, this thing over here is stuck. And I do not know for what reason it is stuck. There is plenty of emeralds. This thing is on. So is that one. What is the problem here? I just do not know. There's a lot of liquid in there. And there's a lot of villagers coming to this place because we're using a torturino up here. Do you know, I don't use the torturino very often, but for testing it comes in quite useful in a moment like this. When this thing is finalised, though, we'll have multiple spawners instead of a torturino. And I can't seem to avoid this problem, but every now and then this thing just decides it's not going to fill up all the way. And so I've put this on active without signal, and then this just comes along every so often to try and kick it into gear, but it does nothing. Also coming over here and swapping these over, like so, doesn't do anything as well. So when it goes back to emeralds, this thing is still broken. And I don't know why it's getting stuck, which means I can't do too much about it at the moment. But we've got 6 blocks of emeralds for now. I'm going to try and get this thing working at least so we can get some more emeralds out of there. Because that's what we came over here to get, wasn't it? So now that we have some emeralds, I can continue making these upgrades. I can also go there to AFK and farm some more because it's not chunk loaded. And if it was, it needs us to be nearby. That's how that farm will work because it uses a vanilla spawner. So over the back here we've got another one of these receivers. We're going to put down another one and we're going to attach it to a network card. So now it's linked. And we're going to link it up to another transmitter. But this time what we're going to do is put it in our base. I can't help but feel maybe some of these issues are caused by the way that our cables just sort of go all over the place. I mean, the code's probably got to do a lot of work looking at all the different cables, where they go to, what they're attached to. Maybe it would be better if we came over here and just had this singular one. We'll probably put it in that space actually, because that's where it's currently connected. So we're going to disconnect all of this from our system. In fact, where is my... There it is, my wireless grids. Sometimes it does that as well. Okay, so now we see all of our nuggets and a lot of our valuables have disappeared. That's because we've disconnected it from the system. Let's also make sure to remove the cable back there as well, so we're just connecting to this part of cable. Then when we attach this in here, it means it's going to connect to it. Apparently it's 34 blocks away, good to know. So all of this should now be back in the system. Let's have a look. Not yet, it might take a while. Well, a range upgrade doesn't work with this thing, and I put some power below it. Don't know if that actually helps or not, but still we're not seeing any items getting connected, which is worrying, but we can always change the cables back over and have it again. So I was about to show you a cool idea that I had using some upgrades, but I think we'll wait since this currently isn't working, and it involves farms as well, and since we're not actually going to do the idea right now, I figured it'd be better to actually show you it when it's in action. So let's just put this back for now. It looks like my storage situation is going to take me a long time. Everything I do, I just seem to run into more and more problems. That looks way better than the glass, doesn't it? I've had this suggestion for a while now from a viewer who said that I should put a transformer here. Certainly looks really good. It's got to be careful the way that we place it though. Let's try it from this side. There we go, that's what I want to see. So we can connect it from either side, which means it doesn't come down like centrally. Oh, and apparently it picks what side it wants to go to. Can I undo that? If I click it again... Right, I think I've got to break the block. So here's what we're going to try. If it's going to select that side first, what if we added a wire going from there to there? Aha, look, it connects the other side, and then this one can go up to the top. So on two sides it would be wired off like that, which is fine by me. That's really cool. That's so much better, isn't it? So much better than this glass. This is the best idea that I had, but it shows you that I'm always thinking vanilla. You know, going with one of those sorts of blocks. Okay, that was odd. And actually it's done that on the other side as well, but I haven't noticed. So it lets you connect those sides up like that, but not these ones? Well, that's a little bit odd. I've tried clicking on it on different sides and placing it different ways, but it just wants to connect up like that. It's not perfect, but it'll do for now. So now you're probably wondering why I'm in the end dimension, or maybe you just don't care. We are here to fight the Ender Dragon, can you believe it? But also to get some of its delicious dragon's breath. So I have fought ahead, and I believe I am well prepared. We've got food, we've got a sword, we've got our shuriken. It's going to be an interesting fight. We need to turn our volume down. That's always something you've got to do when you fight the dragon. And I've got a stack of bottles and my ender pouch to send things back. So we are all good for a nice and easy fight, I hope. Okay, the shuriken can hit this guy. And it looks like it's not going to be too difficult. It's not as accurate as I would have liked. Is that dragon's breath just floating in the air there? I believe that it is. Excellent. Whoa. Apparently I've managed to make ender air bottles. What do they do? Air? Do you like air, Enderman? I think you're okay with it. Great. That's been a waste. So we've got 6 of these so far. Luckily we only need 9. Oh yeah, we've got to take these out as well. Excellent. Well, that makes our life very easy. It's the easiest dragon fight ever. That's the way. This guy is getting wrecked now. You are going nowhere, my friend. We have got you trapped. Excellent. This takes no time at all in modded. This is a very convenient way to fight the end dragon. And there he goes. He's dead. It's got to make his way back to the center though, and that's slightly glitchy. I wonder if it'll move that thing over there. Probably won't. Let's see what happens. Yep, we're all good. Excellent. Well, we came here for Dragon's Breath. Now we can leave. So the reason we took that trip was to make this fancy block down here, the Nether Star Generator Mark III. So the Mark 1 is made like this. Then 2, you put loads of Mark 1s around a Dragon's Breath, and then you do the same thing with Mark 2s for Mark 3. This thing generates power from Nether Stars. Got so many comments requesting that I do that, and that's exactly part of the plan over here. So on this side we have all of these things which create sand, and then it gets turned into soul sand. On the opposite side, where we've got a panel here, we'll have another panel that's going to generate energy using the Nether Star Generator. But I'm not going to set it up right now because the whole power situation that we have kind of needs a lot of work. But the idea is that we would pump some Nether Stars into here, and that is a lot of RF per tick. Wow. And it stores some of it here as well. That's very cool. So yes, we will be making a system for power using the Nether Stars, but we won't be doing that today. For now, we're just going to stand here and watch the skeletons die. That is it from me this episode. I do hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, leave a like on the video. As always, thank you for the support, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao for now. Bye-bye.